Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is Rage, and we are back today with up-to-date Pestilence Scourge and how you can actually unlock Morgan Le Fay as early as possible in your account. Now, for this account that I'm using right now, it is Commander level 80, but the highest my characters have been brought up are at least either Gear Tier 13 or Gear Tier 14, and only at level 75. None of them using ISO 8 Blue, so hopefully you guys can use these meta teams and get a reference in terms of what you'll be needing to battle your way through it. So this will just be focused on Morgan Le Fay's unlock here as early as possible. And then I'll also be making guides on as well, obviously, the rest of the different horsemen here available, in addition to the other legendary trial characters. Just now that I have access to a new account here, we can definitely make that content. So, guys, first and foremost, I do want to showcase for you the run I'm currently on right now, because this run score right here, this 544,515 points is enough to unlock Morgan Le Fay early on. As you can see, it is actually on difficulty 6. So what's worked for myself personally, guys, and what I recommend, I'm going to go through all the teams for all the different nodes, but what has personally helped is the fact that we're actually running it on difficulty 6 with 0 scourges. And although it's gear tier 15 recommended, none of my characters are actually gear tier 15. All of them are either, like I said earlier, gear tier 13 or 14. The highest they've been brought up is only gear tier the highest they've been brought up is level 75. That's all you really need. To be honest, I had a really easy time going through all the nodes, so you can probably even do it at level 70, 71. I do like that 71 benchmark because it's got next level of elevation for your stats. I mean, elevating those characters to more resistance and higher focus levels. So just something to be mindful of. Now, guys, let's get right to it. Starting with node 1. And I want to focus on the meta characters because of the fact that the meta has changed so much since the last time I've done this on my previous videos. So we do want to be mindful of the characters that are relevant in the game now and that are newer but also farmable. So obviously my guide here is going to be tailored more towards if you start an account in 2024. These are some of the characters that are still available, and they're going to have value later on as you build them up towards this unlock here for a legendary horseman. So starting off with mission 1 here, I brought in Spiderweaver, Nightcrawler, Shang-Chi, Captain America, and Gambit. Each and every one of these characters have their own kind of value, but what you really want to be focusing in on are characters that can do splash damage, big AoE kind of burst damage. Nightcrawler can flip, but you can see the range here. I think Shang-Chi was a really beautiful mixer because he brought in damage and he brought in a small heal. We had a character like Captain America here being able to provide defense up, energy. Gambit had the natural passive ping attacks, and what's really nice is each and every one of these characters are used later on in the end game, so you're going to be needing them at some point anyways. So I found that this to be a very strong hero team for mission 1. Having said that, I noticed with mission 2, it did get a little bit tricky because there was an initial burst damage that comes. So what you want to do is, you can see here in my attack 1, I threw in some random straggler characters like Wong and Smart Hardlight. It doesn't really matter who you throw in there because somebody just needs to soak up damage. And then next up, I did actually use this mixture here, that got it done. So very similar to my first node. Only difference is I actually swapped out Gambit for Captain Carter. I found that Carter brought in some additional healing and sustain, especially that synergy with Captain America. And then Weaver, Nightcrawler, and Shang-Chi were able to get the job done with their AoE damage and being able to flip positives into negatives. So this is actually really what got done for me, especially being very relevant hero characters. You could also bring in the Eternals. I think the Eternals, Icarus and Cersei, are very, very good to have in this combo as well because you'll be needing them later on anyways. So that's mission 1 and mission 2. Now mission 3, you're going to see some similarities, guys. The 5 characters I brought in originally are also global characters. So each and every one of these characters we've already seen before. Captain Carter, Captain America synergy, because with them being out of time, rebirth, you're going to get the huge dividends building them earlier on anyways. We got Spiderweaver, who's needed for Apocalypse. And then both Gambit and Nightcrawler are part of the Incursion Mutant Raid team. So Extreme X-Men is going to have a lot of value going forward. And we know Age of X, Xavier coming into the fold here for 2025. Obviously, the X-Men team are going to have value going forward. This global team is just so strong, as you can see, and they're all ranging between that 60, 70 to 100. Really, it's only Weaver that's the highest on my team because we were able to take advantage of the free shards before. Okay, so yeah, same thing. Then we go over now to mission 4. Same story here, right? The exact same global team got it done. And honestly, I probably could have autoed the nodes. They were very smooth, very straightforward. Now, I think what's going to be the main bottleneck for folks going through ultimately unlocking Morgan Le Fay earlier on is, which 5 characters are you going to be using for mission 5? Because this is the one that's most constricted, right? You do need to build either Web Warriors, Dark Hunters, Hive Mind, or Underworld. They revised this since then, because obviously in the past, originally it was just Web Warriors and Dark Hunters. Well, now there's a very, very good team you can use, right? They opened up the door here for Hive Mind, obviously the go-to Bile team for the endgame incursion raid. So we have characters like Void Knight, Venom, Gwenom, Spider Gwen, as well as Carnage, all being very versatile. I definitely would recommend this team because they have value right now in the end game. Heck, you can even argue that they can be brought into Dark Dimension despite their high cost, but at the end of the day, this is the team you want to be building because they had such an easy time, and this team is so much better than the original Web Warriors that we were kind of constricted to use for this game mode. So just something to be mindful of here. This is just such a go-getter team, and you're going to have instant value. Just look at how low they're built too. 50 to 60k across, and able to easily clear this node. And if you can build these characters up, you're going to be able to get the unlock here pretty easily, because this is probably going to be the biggest bottleneck when you're trying to unlock Morgan Le Fay earlier on in your account. Now we can start taking a look at the next section, which is villains. Now, another big value add here. It just makes so much sense. If you have Sinister 6, Superior 6 characters here, it's gonna give you the most value. They're one of the best teams in the game, in the end game right now. So we got Kraven, Doc Ock, who can be unlocked very earlier on now that they revised the legendary requirements. We got Mysterio and Vulture, who are farmable in the game. And I brought in Agatha because, first of all, she is a horseman character, so you're going to be needing her later on for the unlock of Apocalypse, but she's got some really good abilities. Honestly, the 5th member doesn't really matter. Just take a look who your strongest villain is, because you'll see in the next node, I brought in a different villain as well. So at this point, they're more of a complementary piece. But either way, make sure you have that core of the Sinister Superior 6, because they're going to add amazing value in the end game anyways. We have Mission 7 here, and this is kind of what I was referring to earlier. So similar to what we saw in Mission Node 2 here, you do want to be throwing in what I call a sack attempt, right? It's meant to soak up damage, so that way the initial burst doesn't take down your main team. So at this point, I knew that I'm going to unlock Morgan Le Fay without doing the last and final node, so I actually threw in Venom, Carnage, Crossbones, Winter Soldier, and Hela. It doesn't really matter who you throw in, because they're really meant to just soak up the damage, and then you follow that up with your second attack being the main team. So in this case now, I swapped it up. My Agatha was a little bruised up from the previous node, so I did bring in Baron Zemo here to complement my Superior 6, Sinister 6 team, easily getting the job done. So no issues there, but we just got so many good villains in the game now, and I think that's an amazing thing. And then finally, I think arguably outside of the restricted nodes 5 and 10, Mission 8 and 9 are some pretty powerful nodes, but we also have some very powerful characters that we can utilize in Cosmic. So as you can see, I highly recommend the combination of the Eternals. We already used Void Knight before, so it makes sense to bring him in. And we got Val and Kestro, who are both farmable characters in the game. So Dark Dimension 1 unlock for Kestro. Make sure you get that done if you're able to earlier on. If not, she's also still available via Milestone Orbs. Val is a little bit trickier to get into the game, but thankfully 45 shard unlock is not too bad now. But hopefully you're able to capitalize on the anniversary event, because having Val is really immense here, especially with the revive. But not the end of the world. The key thing here is actually the Eternals combined with Void Knight and Kestro, because they do so much damage that they make short work of these nodes. And then lastly, nodes 9 here, the exact same team, right? We had no issues whatsoever. I think I only used Val's ultimate once during these last 2 nodes anyway. So that's it, guys. These 9 nodes completed will get you the run score of 544,000, which gives you the immediate unlock here of Morgan Le Fay. Like I said earlier, either level 70 or 75 can get the job done. And the reason I chose difficulty 6 is because then you don't even need to try or attempt this last node. Mind you, this is not bad now with Hive Mind, but you can get the job done here, difficulty 6, as it's only a notch higher than difficulty 5. So hopefully this helps you guys out. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments below. I want to revisit all the other previous Scourges that I've done, in addition to the Horseman characters that you can see now that I keep running. So thank you for your time as always. Hope this helped you guys out in your journey. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.